fellow panelist here is celebrating that the rule of law has been vindicated and overturned 234 years of American legal tradition, I would challenge her to see if she could possibly articulate how and what crime Trump committed, because so far Alvin Bragg, the DA, has failed to do so. The judge in the case, Judge Merchan, has failed to do so, and they can't do it because Trump didn't commit any of the crimes for which he's been convicted.
Well, let's just ask quickly before I go to Kevin. Francesca, just on that point, what crime did Trump commit?
It was financial crimes. It was white collar crimes. That is exactly what they charged him. He was convicted on.
What was the crime?
It's New York State law.
No, I understand. What was the crime?
It is New.
Francesca,
I don't even like it. It is
well,
literally
hang on,
he just got convicted on 34 counts.
Francesca, what was the crime?
Of like cooking the actual books.
What was the crime?
You are not allowed. So you are not allowed to use your own financial, like your own money, to pay off somebody, and then he logged it as something different. He logged it as just a regular payment, but he was actually paying off this porn star to keep quiet, which, if he hadn't been running for president, would not have mattered, but he was, and so it impacted campaign finance laws in New York State. Okay, that is what Juan Merchan just oversaw this.
Okay.
Alvin Bragg got these charges because Michael Cohen, his sister, was already sentenced to 3 years to do it.
Okay, let's just go before Kevin. I'd be very, very, very patient. We'll come to you.
Look, I'm no expert. Let me just say, hang on.
No,
Michael,
you are no expert.
by the
That's
way.
right. The campaign finance law is a federal law.
Hang on.
Anyway.
What's going on, everyone? Talks to Kenny here today. We got a fun reaction video for you guys today. So I want to give my analysis. I saw from the intro, Michael Knowles kind of called out the left here. And the left is getting called out for their emotionalism right now because it seems like the left don't lack logic. They lack logic a lot. This is why I made the video. The leftists hate critical thinkers. Some leftists came in and say, oh, it's both sides. It's not both sides. It's only your side. And this lady, Francesca, if I said her name correctly, she proves it. She lives it. Like, emotional thinking. They ask, hey, what crime? Specify exactly what did Trump break. Oh, he falsified business records. He paid his lawyer at the time. Michael Cohen was a lawyer at the time. He paid this guy his thing. It was a legal expense. If you pay your lawyer money to handle something legally, like a non-disclosure agreement, last time I checked, that's legal stuff. That is falsifying business records because he's doing it as he's running for office. Make it make sense. These people, and you see how twisted, like she was just fumbling in her brain trying to find something to say. But the left like to pretend that, oh, if you're a conservative, you're on the right, all you have is talking points. All you know how to do is spin stuff. But when you look at it, when you just observe reality, you notice that the left does it more. They're more culpable in spinning a narrative, in talking points, pre-prescribed talking points. I'm just talking based on common sense, based on what I see, based on how I piece things together off the top of my head. But the left want to pretend that you have memorized talking points. But it seemed like they have memorized talking points because she couldn't even articulate what exactly did Trump break. And people were trying to point out, hey, it's a state crime. It's not a state crime. It's a federal case, charge, sorry. And it was beyond the statute of limitation, a.k.a. you're twisting the law to make special exceptions specifically for Trump so you can go and get Trump. There's a lot of things wrong with this case. And before I go into this next clip, because in this next clip, actually, remember when I pointed out how Bill Clinton is guilty of the same thing? And if the Democrats want to squash this narrative that is not about politics, is not politically motivated, they should go after Bill Clinton.
This is squarely Trump's making. This has nothing to do with his base. It has nothing to do with protecting American democracy like happened on January 6th, according to them. This has to do with Trump making his bronzer-stained bed with a porn star, trying to cover it up, and then getting caught doing it.
And out of interest, before I go to Michael, out of interest, why is Bill Clinton able to have sex with an intern in the Oval Office when he's president and lie to the American people about it on national television? And why is he able to pay off Paula Jones $850,000, 4 times as much, 5 times as much as the Trump payment to Stormy Daniels, to get rid of a sexual harassment claim, again, while he's president? And he has no criminal court recourse for that. Why is that deemed to be better than what happened with Trump and Stormy?
I don't think anyone is making that case, Piers. I'm
No,
not
I'm
here to
asking you,
defend
what's
Bill
the
Clinton
difference? What's the difference?
or any predator. The difference is that he didn't cook the books financially using his own, like, using back channels in order to pay.
So paying
that
somebody off
person
who says you sexually harassed her, paying nearly $1 million while you're the president of the United States, and then having sex with an intern in the Oval Office and lying about it, that's fine because he's a Democrat.
Piers, only the leftists in your mind are making that argument.
Sorry?
Typical leftist. Instead of answering the question, instead of actually articulating the point, she gave a non-answer. She didn't answer it. Only the leftist in your mind is making that point. He gave a comparison. He gave an example. If you're holding Trump accountable, if you're holding him to the law, why you didn't hold Bill Clinton? Bill Clinton has been doing this since 1988. Sorry, 1998. And now y'all want to get Trump for it? This is why half of Americans think that Trump's guilty verdict is political. Now, look how ABC News spins it. Like, remember, the left loves to say Republicans, conservatives, y'all spin everything to fit your narrative. Look at this right here. Half of Americans think Donald Trump's guilty verdict was correct and should end campaign poll says. 47% say that they think the charges against Trump were politically motivated. A plurality of Americans, 50%, think Donald Trump's guilty verdict on all 37 counts in his hush money trial was correct. A new ABC poll finds that almost as many as 49% think he should end his political campaign over the results. Still following the historic criminals trial that ended this week in the first ever conviction of a former president, narrative, right? But you saw in the intro, this leftist, right? I'm presuming this person who looks at this favorably, she could not defend, she could not even articulate what exactly the charges was. But we're supposed to take this conviction seriously. Remember, 47% of Americans think this is politically motivated. There's some polls that show that there's more people who think this is politically motivated than who think it's not politically motivated. And the funny part about that ABC poll, that same poll, if the question they ask, do you believe do you believe that the verdict was politically motivated? Only 38% of the people in that poll said it was not politically motivated. But 47% of the people in that poll said it was politically motivated. But ABC didn't bring that up in the page. No, it didn't. They didn't bring up that fact about that same poll. We're talking about the same poll. ABC wanted to make a whole narrative out of it. Look, most of America agreed that Trump should not run anymore. I don't care. My vote, I'm gonna vote for the first time in my young life, I'm gonna vote for a convicted felon. Because y'all can't even tell me what he did wrong. Remember in my videos when talking about the trial, I was struggling to articulate exactly what they said he was guilty for. The jury couldn't even agree on one count of that he was actually guilty for. They just think he was guilty of something. And they say, okay, we'll go with that. Make that make sense. I show you the man, and I can show me the man, and I'll show you the crime. That's the game the political left is playing. And the logic, the ability to not follow the logic is baffling to me because the Democrats know their base. Democrats know, hey, we have emotionally driven voters. That's the reality. Let me know in the comment section if you agree with me. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comment section. Democrats know that they have emotional voters. This is why they keep pushing racism. This is why they make everything about sexism, identity politics, continue saying you're a victim. We see you. They continue to pander to people because they know their voters are emotionally driven. That's because that's the only way you can come to this conclusion of how you can't hold Bill Clinton accountable, how you can believe that this is not politically motivated when Bill Clinton was first guilty of this very same thing that you charged Trump with. Make it make sense. I digress, though. Let's get into let's get into some of the discussions, and you will see a little bit more in a fuller context how she carried herself in this debate. Let's take a look.
When he was walking out of a press briefing, was asked, Mr. President, Donald Trump says that you are imprisoning him because he's your political rival. What do you say to that charge?
Well, I'll stop you there. We have the clip. Let's play the clip.
Mr. President, can you tell us, sir, Donald Trump refers to himself as a political prisoner and blames you directly. What's your response to that, sir? Do you think the conviction will have an impact on the campaign?
I mean, you think that make the Democrats look good? Him smiling like that? The PSYOP game, it seemed like the Democrats were crumbling because I agree with a lot of commentators. A lot of people were talking about this point, and I'm going to reiterate it here. The Democrats overplayed their hand. They think, oh, we got Hollywood, we got mainstream media. Most journalists are left. Most journalists donate to the Democratic Party at like a 96% clip. Journalism is seen as the most liberal profession. Democrats know they got these people in their back pocket, so they think they can get away with murder. They project on Trump where they actually are, a threat to democracy. In this case, a threat to the republic. But they want to pretend that they're the good guys here. No way. The Democrats pretend to be good. The Democrats don't do good. They act like they're doing good. Look at their deeds, not their words.
I mean, you look like Jack Nicholson in The Shining at the end of that. But yeah, I mean, Michael, to pick up your point there, that's the clip you're referring to.
Yes, and it's pretty clear this is not a man who thinks that he has to be accountable to the American people. When you look at the federal charge against Trump, there was a poll that came out when that charge was brought that showed 62% of Americans think that it's primarily politically motivated. They just don't seem to care. And so this has been a ratcheting up, as we've all noted on the panel, of trends that have been built up for some years now. Some would say going back to Richard Nixon. But certainly in the early Trump campaign, the Democrats tried to stop him from being president by spying on him and cooking up fake intelligence, ironically enough, with Russia, and that didn't work.
You see her face? Like, what are you doing that like stupid face for? You don't believe it? Ask questions about it. Like, this is my problem with the left. Oh, I never heard of that before. Do you remember they go Russia, collusion? You don't remember that? Adam Schiff, I forgot his name. Pencil neck. That's all I remember because of Trump. You don't remember him? You don't remember Hillary Clinton saying the election was stolen? It was rigged against her. And then a couple years down the line, after this man got impeached twice and left office, oh yeah, here's a report proving that Trump was right all along. They were spying on his campaign. They believe Hillary Clinton off of unvalidated information. Hillary said FBI just believed it and ran with it. Democrat privilege. That's what I'm going to call it. Leftist privilege. You can act like spoiled children, destroy property, kill people, put people in danger. And you don't get held accountable, you get bailed out, all this stuff. Conservatives do January 6th, held to the fullest extent of the law, even in some cases breaking their rights, falsely imprisoning peaceful protesters that was there at the January 6th riot. But BLM rioters, what happened to them? Nothing. Two-tier justice system. And you wonder why people are more excited to vote for Trump, why people are more in line with Trump now. Because you can't even articulate what Trump did. But you got some people saying, oh no, it wasn't rigged, it was a fair system. And it kind of highlights something that that's kind of scary about human nature, is that in reality, we all just believe stories that we tell ourselves. And we make the choice whether we want to believe something or not. And that's a scary thing. Because if someone doesn't want to believe something, it don't matter how much truth you put in their face, no matter how much facts you put in their face, that emotional part of human nature is deadly, bro. And the Democrats use it to this effect. Look at it. She can't logically or rationally make a plausible case for how it's not political, how Trump is actually being held accountable, and he's being treated equally under the law. They can't even make the case.
Then they tried to throw him out by impeaching him twice. That didn't work. Then they tried to kick him out by rigging the election and changing all the voter rules, in some cases in contravention of state constitutions leading up to that election. That did get him out of office, and he did leave office, but then he didn't go away. He kept running again. So then they indicted him 4 times. Now they've convicted him. They're going to threaten to throw him in prison. Pretty soon they're going to threaten to send him to St. Helena. But this has absolutely nothing to do with the law. As was noted earlier, at most you're talking about a misdemeanor that would have already expired under the statute of limitations. I'm not even convinced that there was really a misdemeanor that Trump committed. So my fellow panelist here is celebrating that the rule of law has been vindicated and overturned 234 years of American legal tradition. I would challenge her to...
And this is where we may full circle to the intro, because this is the funniest argument in my life, right? Michael Knowles just laid out, hey, you say it's about the law, right, Francesca? But it passed the statute of limitations. Like, if we did this to another citizen, let's say it was a black man, right? Let's say Kenny was on trial, and I did something wrong in my past life because I'm a black kid, right? We're gonna play into the white liberal woman's narrative about black men, right? Even though most black men don't go to jail, but hey, we're gonna play into that narrative, right? And a crime that I supposedly committed, it passed the time limit already. They can't really convict me, but they want to get Kenny because, Kenny talking too much ish online. We got to get him. He talking too much ish. They hit me with this, but you would not be celebrating that. But all of a sudden, it's Trump, aka emotional reason. You'll find a reason to justify it. That's the problem people have with the left right now. Right? So I'm skipping around because there was this own, and I think I could end the video with this own right here, is when she gets called out for allegedly doing something after commercial break or something, during commercial break. I forget. But hopefully I found the right part of the video.
Was kind of taking on unpopular causes and holding the government accountable. I have to tell you, I do that for a reason. And the reason is this kind of shenanigans, and that's the best light I can spin it, in the criminal courts has no place in a federal election.
I don't mean to pick on Francesca too much here, but it's very telling that even the liberals who are going on television to defend this ruling have to Google in the breaks to figure out what the crime was. and even then, I'm sorry to say, misrepresent what the actual supposed crime was. The reason here that this has to take... Oh, excuse me one second, Francesca. I'll just finish my point real quickly.
Cooking the books, that's the same thing.
Yeah, it's not...
What, cooking the books what? Cooking the books is when you're trying to hide ill-gotten money. That's money laundering. You're trying to hide where you got the money from. All he did was pay his lawyer because his lawyer paid someone else to go into a non-disclosure agreement for him. Same thing that Bill Clinton did in 1998. But all of a sudden, you're going to pretend you care about it now. Mouth wide open, got exposed, called out. You have to Google what the charges was because you don't even know what the charges are. But you so definitively standing up. Oh, it wasn't political. It was just no one's above the law unless you're a Democrat. That's the narrative you're pushing in my face, Francesca. Many people on the left that's trying to make this argument that it's not rigged.
Yeah, it's not a felony, not a crime. But anyway, that's a point for another time. The reason why even the great defenders of this conviction can't... yes, to you as well.
Trying to derail the conversation. Don't have an argument, but you're trying to derail the conversation.
The reason that they can't articulate this is because it's not really a crime. That's why they had to upend 234 years of precedent for this. And it gets back to a point that you made earlier, Piers, and that you made, Kevin, which is that Alvin Bragg really overplayed his hand. Sure, he overplayed his hand to some degree, but what else were they going to do? Donald Trump was always going to be the Republican nominee in 2024. A lot of people feel that he was gypped in 2020. He's the biggest guy in the party. It was going to happen. And Trump poses a real threat to the liberal establishment. He's not a Mitt Romney type Republican. He has different views from the so-called uniparty on things like trade, on things like immigration, and things like foreign policy and war. Trump posed a major threat. That's why they took such extraordinary measures for the last 8 years to take this guy out. They weren't able to do it politically. They weren't even really able to do it at the ballot box. So what's left? The only thing left to do is to try to throw him in prison so that he can't campaign for the election.
And I agree with that. Nothing that's being done, like name me one thing that the Democrats support that did not benefit them politically. I'm waiting. Nothing. Everything they do benefits them politically. Taking him off the ballot is not to hold him accountable. It's to benefit themselves politically. He's their biggest threat. They want to move the biggest piece off the board. Before, when this narrative coming out that Trump was the easiest to beat, and everyone say, oh, look, the Democrats are trying to rig it in Trump's favor. I don't hear those talking points anymore. And it just speaks to me like, yo, these people don't do anything that doesn't benefit them politically. And this is what happens if us, the voters, we put we put party over country when it's supposed to be country over party. Hey, look, Democrats, we're not going to let you misuse our system for your own political gain. Regardless, I don't care. The appearance of propriety is warranted enough. But y'all want to keep pretending that this guilty verdict is actually legitimate. It's not. No one's taking this serious. I have yet to hear anyone on the left make an actual clear argument that it wasn't a political hit job, that this does not benefit Democrats politically. Everything they do just happened to benefit them politically. What a coincidence, huh? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll be interested to hear what you guys have to say, what some of your thoughts on this matter is. Do you believe that Michael Knowles did a great job kind of checking this leftist? Do you think the leftists here in this video represent most people who believe that the trials were not politically motivated. I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I really do appreciate you guys watching the end of the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.